Hey YouTube, Dan Ottawa here, the best 3/4 tier Pokemon Go battler in the world, coming at you with my first Great League team featuring the Pokemon that is used by every content creator this day, Cofagrigus. It is because, those of you who don't know, it used to run Astonish as its quick move. It now runs Shadow Claw for Season 9, and that changed its Great League win rate percentage from 18% to 73%. Just that move, because Shadow Claw is an insane, one of the best fast moves that you can get. So it was amazing for that perspective. And the Shadow Ball Dark Pulse, it's a really good Pokemon. Don't get me wrong. I went 21-4 with it today with this team. Two drawbacks. The first is, for something that is more defensive heavy, it wasn't as tanky as I thought it would be. So that was the first drawback. The second drawback was obviously Shadow Ball Dark Pulse. Both moves resisted by Dark type Pokemon. And your pure ghost type, so you take super effective from dark. So if you see an Umbreon, Obstagoon, Mandibuzz, or any other dark type Pokemon, you are in big trouble. And that's why if you want to use this Pokemon, you need to run it with two counters to dark. So, and that's why I paired it with Azu, because it's one of the best counters for Umbreon and Scrafty and those. And I ran it with Vigoroth because it is a counter user, which is good against the darks. Plus I wanted a counter user to deal with one a safe swap, so Vigoroth is one of the best safe swaps, and I wanted it to deal with like Galarian Stunfisk and Bastion because I didn't know how Cofagrigus dealt with them. So, like I said, I went 21-4. What I will say about this, if you have a Sableye, use the Sableye because at least Sableye hits a little. I think it's a bit tankier because it's a higher level, and it can at least hit neutral with return or a power gem as the other type move that you can use on it. So at least you can hit neutral in those situations on dark, because you're going to see in a lot of matches where if I'm against a dark type Pokemon, I just have to rely on my back two Pokemon. And I did face a lot of dark. So we're going to look at that. Like I said, I still managed to go 21-4 because it is a very strong Pokemon. So let's get into the battles and see how they went. So obviously it's the first day, so you're going to have some people who don't really know what they're doing. So in this matchup, we're against a Swampert, and so they went fast. I'm like, okay, so this a Hydro Cannon. Let's just see how much a Hydro Cannon does. And it does like 50%, so I'm in the yellow, so that's okay. So the good news is if I throw this will probably put it low or take it out. They do end up shielding. Oh, they don't end up shielding, so it's just putting them super low. So the problem is they're now going to be able to outpace me to the second move. So this is going to take me out if I don't shield. So I'm going to shield this up and then just claw down. Because one of the pros of this is both of these moves generally hit pretty hard. So here comes the Stunfisk. And I'm thinking, you know what? I have two that counter Stunfisk. Let's just go into my safe swap here. And I pull out a Venusaur. So that's great because I do not want my Azu to see this Venusaur. And this is why I love Vigoroth. I used him yesterday for the first time just to see how it's used. And man, I am so surprised how many body slams you get to. Just the counter and body slam spam is for real. So it is a great safe swap. Got the one off there. I'm going to get the, it's just close. So the good news is I have a Dark Pulse ready here. And that's why you're running with Dark Pulse. I ran my first two games with Psychic, and then I'm like, Dark Pulse is a little less energy, so let's do that. And I'm thinking, I could probably get to another Dark Pulse before, and I do not want my Azu to see this. So let's go. And they try and catch, and now I'm able to align this properly. Caught their charge move, which they were trying to snipe with a Rock Slide, so that's perfect. And now they're going to get an Earthquake off here. And then I'm getting to the Hydro Pump, and I'm just like, let's just throw the Hydro Pump, because I can probably just bubble down before they get a move off. And if they don't, and they throw a move, then I will just have my Kafa. I'm just going to call it Kafa, because it's easier to do that. To claw down, and that's when they realize, they need to throw here, so that's fine because now I can come and just claw down for the win. So able to take that first match there with a decent lead. Jelson is a good lead. You know what? It's kind of a neutral lead because they also can hit for super effective. And out comes a Drapion, and I was like, okay, this is not ideal because it has the poison right there, which would be bad against the Azu, and it has Crunch, which would be bad against my Cofagrigus. So I was like, okay, come on, Vigoroth, you need to spam these to win here. And at this point, I'm like, I cannot have this see either of my other two Pokemon. So I need to take this out with this. So I'm just going to throw here, get this out of the way. And I think they let this go, which is good. And now they're going to come back in here. And I'm getting to a Bulldoze, and I do get it off. At this point, I'm like, I don't want to get bubbled down. So I'm just going to come in with Azu, because it's maybe they have a second counter to Azu, but it's unlikely. So I'm just going to come in here, start getting ahead on energy. I don't have a move that's good against this because I'm not running Play Rough on mine. I run Ice Beam and Hydro Pump. But I'm just going to get in here and absorb these Shadow Balls. Throw a Hydro Pump. Even if it's shielded, great, because I'll take shield advantage. If it's not, it'll do pretty good chip damage. And they do shield it, so I've got... Oh, they already had a shield up, right? So now we're just even shields. So I'm going to go down here. Good news is I have energy, and out comes the Ninetales. So I'm going to build up a bit. I was trying to eventually try and catch, because I think that's what I'm going to need to do as my win condition here. So I'm going to build up again and then try to catch on my Vigoroth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, bail. Yep, perfect. There we go. I don't know many counts, but I know Ninetales because I run Ninetales all the time. So I know it's 5. So now I can just go to the Dark Pulse here before they get to the move. And that's why that's why I like running Dark Pulse, because it's a slightly less energy, enough to take it out. And at this point, we both have a shield. So I'm thinking I'm either going to get to 2 Dark Pulses, or I'm just going to claw this down. And it looks like I'm at the point where I just need to claw it down. So we are going to try and claw down for the win, and we do. So the claw coming through to take us to victory here. Umbreon, bad lead here. Safe swap into Vigoroth, and this is perfect. It's not perfect, but when your opponent hesitates, maybe they're going to stay in here and just go for the... So it's a Dark Pulse. So so a couple things here. Dark Pulse is more hurt than Foul Play, so that was good on their part, just to catch me off guard. I threw Bulldoze there. I don't think that's the right move. I think you just Body Slam, spam it. But the bad move on my opponent part is you just let Vigoroth get way too much energy, because Vigoroth strives on having all that energy. So I'm going to shield this, because I know I'm going to get the shield right back here. Or I'm going to take Switch, and I'd be fine with either. So I'm going to spam this Body Slam. If they shield, I would debate going another shield to take it out, but they let it go. So now I just took Switch, and it's a Stunfisk. So that's great, because now I have play against both. So I throw this here just to do chip damage. Between the counters and Body Slam, I think decent chip, and the shield. So that's amazing. And they're trying to mud shot me down, which I'm just going to keep spamming these Body Slams. Like, they're resisted, but they're chip damage, right? So between the counters and the Body Slams, I am now putting this in the yellow. So that's almost taken out. So now I'm just going to sacrifice this. And they come with the Umbreon, and now I can hard punish here. So there's nothing they can really throw at me here that will hurt too much. And then I've got... they're throwing Dark Pulses. So I'm guessing they don't have a second move on this, which we just had a community day. So I'm surprised that they don't have one with the second move on. So the Hydro Pump, it gets shielded. That was an accidental shield. I was watching a video. You don't need to shield up a resisted Dark Pulse. I would much rather saved it for the Earthquake, but I was not paying attention. So that happens more often than not on my part. Obviously it's resisted. Nothing's going to do anything. They catch on their Stunfisk, which is fine because that had energy. So I'd rather just take this out now and then just deal with resisted Dark Pulses. And they realize that this game is over. So that's one where I didn't really have any play with the Pokemon. And Mana Buzz on late. So again, we're coming to a safe swap here. And they're staying in a little longer than they should. So now I'm just going to start Body Slam spamming this. Because 1, just to do chip damage, and 2, it starts burning the timer a bit more, right? Because it's like, what, 5 seconds? So it's like 5 to 10 seconds between all the animations and everything for each. So that just burned 20 seconds. And out comes a Mew. So is this going to take me out? Probably not. It's just going to be a Surf, right? So it's probably just going to be short. So I can Body Slam this once. And I can go for a second one here. probably before I'm taken out. Yes, because the Shadow Claws are resisted, because I am a normal type. So they're going to have to shield, or else I'm going to win switch here. And they're not going to want to give up switch. So I immediately just say, I'll give up switch. Thinking, again, I'm probably going to need to sack this anyways. But because I was able to burn 20 seconds of the switch timer, I know they can't switch out immediately. So I'm just going to absorb all this energy, knowing they're probably going to come back with the Mana Buzz, but I'll have a move and 2 shielded for thing. And they come in with Bastiodon, so I'm like, okay, that's not a great play. But let's just see how much the Shadow Ball does. And kind of what I expected, like not a ton. So that's kind of why you have these other 2 Pokemon on the team. So a 2 shielded Azu against a 1 shielded Mandibuzz and Bastiodon is not going to be a recipe for success for my opponent. So this should be an easy win on my part here. I think they do take this right down to the ending here, but that's okay. So I'll Hydro Pump. I think they may shield, even though the writing, I think, is on the wall for them here. Again, I don't even need to shield, but just to make sure. So if you're going to run okay, so they do let it go. So if you're going to run the Cofagrigus, you just need 2 things to deal with Dark. Like, that's how you build the team. So Fairy, Fighters, that's what you need to do. So this one is a hard counter city. Umbreon on lead, have to switch, save, swap. In comes a Deox to deal with my Vigoroth. So that's hard countered because they're just going to counter me because I'm weak to counter because I'm normal. So even these body slams are going to take it low, but it's not going to do enough. And then they're going to have a move coming out of this too, because they're just countering me down as much as they can. They are going to throw a move here. There's no point in me shielding it because I'm just going to get countered down anyways. So I've got to rely that hopefully Azu can take the back. And what you're going to see in 5 seconds here is that it will not be able to take the back because in the back is a Nidoqueen. So I am just hard countered throughout this matchup here. Not much you can do. I was coming out with energy here thinking, hey, if I can get a good matchup here, and you're not going to get a good matchup against a Nidoqueen here. So this game is over. Should have put this on fast forward. So anyways, while this plays out, yeah, so a couple others have put out teams today. With like I've seen Homeslace Henry, Yonkis, Shrady have all put out this already because it's newer Pokemon. It does have like good moves, so now it is very relevant. So you're gonna see it. So if you're gonna, I saw someone think Yonkis paired it with Registeel. Yeah, again, so you're just resist anything that deals with your dark type Pokemon. So I don't know if I love Registeel, but I guess you have Focus Blast on Registeel, so you can Focus Blast like a Scrafty. But a Scrafty would cause problems for that team. So you just need to run it with something that it can deal with. So, like I said, if you have a Sableye, run a Sableye. But if you don't, look at this. Metachamps, which are everywhere. This is a great matchup because the counters are resisted. You're doing super effective. Out comes a Sableye, which is doing great, but I have my own response to Sableye. I just did some chip damage just because I don't have a Play Rough. So I just want to do some chip damage to the Shadow Claws because now I could just Ice Beam this and take it out. So that's why I stayed in there and I shield up return because, again, 95% of the time they're not going to bait with a foul play. There's no point of baiting. Just try and grab the shield with the return. Same thing here. I grabbed a shield. I think I shielded again. Yeah, because I'm fine matching shields. Like, this is a ton of wasted energy on their part. So I don't mind going down a shield here because I'm still going to be pretty full here. And they just lost count. They're trying to go for 3 returns, and you're not going to go for 3 returns before I go for 3 ice beams. So I have switch. We're both down to 0 shields, and they have their own Azu. So this is tricky to a certain extent because I don't have Play Rough. So I'm going to throw this Hydro Pump, and now my options are get bubbled down, that they come out with energy, or switch and give up switch. So I'm like, I really don't want to give up switch. I'll just do chip damage here because I really need that alignment. I cannot have a counter Metacham on my Vigoroth, so I'll just do whatever chip damage here. Come with the Vigoroth. Vigoroth is essentially just up for slaughter at this point because it's not going to do anything here. Take the Ice Beam, that's fine. You're not my win condition. My win condition is Cofagrigus. So they switch, but I have a Shadow Ball ready. Here we go. A Shadow Ball. This is what you want to see. A Shadow Ball to a pretty full health Medicham almost takes it out, and you are able to counter down. They are going to get the Psychic off here. So this is what I'm talking about. I guess you don't almost get taken out, but you're already in the red. So that's not ideal, and you do get the Shadow Ball off here to win. So that's good, but yeah, it's not as tanky as I thought it'd be. I'm actually a little disappointed. Again, super strong Pokemon if you need a Ghost Pokemon to use. I think it's definitely up there behind Sableye as a Ghost Pokemon to use. So definitely worth using for sure. And like I said, I don't want to repeat myself, but just pair it with two things that could deal with Dark type Pokemon because you just get absolutely walled. And that's it. That is day 1, 21-4. Good start. I've got other Pokemon I want to use, which I also think the meta is so similar. So you just got to use the Pokemon that are different. So I expect you will see some people use Nidoking. I may or may not use Nidoking. Stats are still not great for Nidoking despite the move. Poliwrath is going to be a beast. I expect you to see that. I may build that. Pidgeot I want to use too. So I'm probably going to use that maybe tomorrow. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching. Good luck with the season. I'll see you guys in the next